Okay, welcome everyone. It's exactly 11 a.m. Singapore time, and I'm really glad to be here today with you guys. Okay, today is going to be an exciting day, and I just want to ask, how's everyone doing? You know, we are on day 3 now. How's everyone? Put in the chat right now. How are you guys feeling today? How's everything going with the program? How's things going on with you? Just put in the chat so that I have an idea how you guys are doing, and let me keep going to explain to you that today is day 3, and today we're actually. Just give me a minute. Let me share my screen. Can everyone? Yay! Okay. Can everyone see my screen? Type yes in the chat. Okay, let me try to stop sharing and start sharing again. 1 minute. Okay, I'm sharing my screen. Can everyone see it? It should say day 3 on it. Okay, awesome, great. So we are in day 3 today, and today is about having the right mindset. So each day that I have been, since the start of this challenge, right, I have been actually focusing on getting the mindset right, getting the state right, okay? In many ways, some of you may be asking, hey, come on, you know, I need to recover my sales. I want to recover my sales fast. You know, what are you talking about, you know, mindset and all this stuff? You know, just give me the tools, give me the strategies, and I want to, you know, get my mindset right. So I just want to explain to you that the way the mindset works, imagine, right, just say you're in Kuala Lumpur, okay, and you want to take a train. So you want to take a train to Singapore. Singapore is south, okay? But it happens that the train that you're on right now is going to Bangkok, which is north, okay? So the first thing is you need to be able to get off the Bangkok train and jump onto the Singapore train, because otherwise the train can be going as fast as it can, and you know, you're going to arrive. So the harder you work, right, the more quicker you're going to arrive at the wrong destination. Okay, so it's very important to understand the destination, and you need to be on the right train, so to speak, right? So in the sense that you need to be in the right state of mind to be able to take advantage of opportunities, to be able to grow your sales. Okay, so as I was saying, and we will go on to the next. How was the homework yesterday, guys? How was everything? Put in the chat. Was it too long? The Tony Robbins video, did you find it too long? If it was too long to watch, let me know. Just put in the chat LONG, long, right? I thought it was really important listening to the story, the strategy, and the state, right? What was your key takeaways from yesterday? What was the key takeaways that you guys had from yesterday from watching the video, right? From watching the video. Now, for those of you who have not put in your answers in the chat, okay? Sorry, not in the chat, but for those of you who have not put in your answers in Facebook, right? You're supposed to do your assignments. For those of you who haven't done your assignments yet, you are missing out on prizes, okay? You're missing out on prizes. So I haven't had a chance to send the email of the prize. The prize for day 1 is the 7 story structure, right? All the 10,000 stories in the world can be divided into 7. And if you know the story structure, you'll be able to create a story structure on your own that makes engaging. So all the Hollywood movies, all the blockbusters, right? I break it down in that document and actually show you what are the story structures that are common. So you'll be able to see the pattern, right? Day 2, the prize is from actually Chet Holmes. It's actually an excerpt from his book, The Ultimate Sales Machine, to actually teach you how to grow your sales. And he has grown sales, you know, up to 600 times, right? He has grown sales up to 600 times for some companies. So there's an excerpt of that. So please do put your homework, which is the key action items. That's all you need to do in the chat, right? Not in the chat, sorry, in the Facebook group, so that I can see you and I can actually make you guys and give you the prizes. Okay, right, let's keep moving. So what was your key takeaway from yesterday's action item? So put in the chat right now, right? What was your key takeaway from watching yesterday's video? Yesterday's video was really, really important, right? Great, the one-touch rule, right? Great, the one-touch rule is a great takeaway. And I'm gonna cover a little bit of that. But for the rest of you, let me just get you, refresh your memory a little bit, okay? So basically it says the lack of resourcefulness is the real problem, right? So Tony Robbins says it is not resources that is the problem, right? It is your lack of resourcefulness in the sense that where is your hunger, right? Where is your hunger? Another one that he talked about is it is what determines your destiny is not the conditions. So it's not what happened to Oprah Winfrey, or it's not how Oprah Winfrey's life was, okay? It's about the decision she took. So it's your decisions that actually determine your destiny, okay? And that's really, really key. Your decisions are so important. Another one is how you look at something, okay? You can look at something as a curse, right? So this coronavirus, is it a curse, right? Or you can look at it as, is it a challenge? You know, you throw this at me, I'm going to fight it. Or do you consider this a gift, like the owner of Zoom, right? Who everyone is using Zoom right now because of the challenge, right? This is a gift that fell on Zoom's lap, right? And same as the richest man in Singapore, who it is a gift that he is the ventilator king. And he owns all the ventilator production, the #1 ventilator productions, and all the hospitals are desperately needing ventilators. Like I have a friend who is actually dealing in ventilators, and he's supplying ventilators. And the earliest a hospital can get a ventilator now is May next year. Can you imagine that? More than 12 months. When I spoke to him, it was April. So it was 13 months waiting list, right? Imagine what kind of business you could have if your customers are waiting 13 months in a queue for your product, right? So for some people, it's a gift, okay? For some people, it's a challenge. But for some people, it's a curse. But really, it's your state, right? It's exactly how your state of mind is that determines your destiny, your decisions. Okay, moving on along, right? So I wanted to do a recap of yesterday, and we talked about how some people make it look so effortless. Okay, so the Masayoshi Son, right? He closed a $45 billion deal with the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, right? So after a 45-minute meeting, the Crown Prince gave him $45 billion, right? How amazing is that? But you know, when you really break it down, it's like the guy holding the donkey's balls to tell the time, okay? It's not that hard. It's just that you need to see the perspective. So we're going to go more into that. Another recap from yesterday was this guy talking about it is not the amount of time or effort even that you're putting into the things that you do, but it's actually the decisions that you're making. Okay, so 80% of where you are today, 80% of your thing in life, right? Even though coronavirus, right? Even though we are in COVID-19 and we have this virus problem and we are all in lockdown, but 80% of the state that you're in right now is from 20% of the decisions that you took. Okay, 80% of the state you're in right now, 80% of your finances, 80% of your situation right now is dependent on 20% of the decision. So the decisions really, to me, is the most important thing. And this guy, again, is a billionaire. Okay, he's not just any guy. He's a billionaire, and he took certain decisions with certain companies to invest and not to invest, and he got his ability, right? He's the author of the 80-20 rule, and and he is successful for that. Okay, but some of you are having a challenge with the internet connection. Sorry if it's coming from my side. After this after this session, I'm not sharing on Facebook Live to conserve the bandwidth. But after this Facebook Live is done, after this Zoom call is done, I will upload it onto Facebook, right? And you will have the clear copy that does not have any lag or anything like that. But thank you so much for the update. Okay, let's keep going. And then we looked at Charlie Munger. Again, Charlie Munger is also one of the richest men in the world. You haven't really heard of Charlie because he is the partner to Warren Buffett, who usually gets the limelight, right? But they are both business partners, and they're both partners in Berkshire Hathaway, which is the most successful investment company, financial services company in the world, right? And in terms of their track record in returning investments to investors, right? So, and he talks about inversion, right? So he talks about inversion. So I'm just doing a recap from yesterday. He talks about inversion, which is, hey, let's look at this particular problem from a different perspective. So if you want to be successful in your selling, look at all the things you need to do to be unsuccessful and then avoid those things, right? So that's Charlie Munger. Sorry guys, the internet is not great here for some reason, and I am sorry about that. Okay, so then we went to the 6 steps by Chet Holmes, right? The 6 steps, and the step 1 was, if you want to save time, if you want to do an amazing thing, right? You need to touch it once, okay? You touch it again and again and again and keep going back to the same thing, you lose a lot of time, right? When you touch something, take action with it, right? The second thing. Second one is, we all make lists, and lists are very, very important, but when you make those lists, make sure they do not have more than 6 items on that list, okay? Now, some of you may be asking me, you know what, I'm a super achiever and I can do 10 things, no problem, and I can cross it off the list. Fine. Do the 6 things first, and then make a new list with your 10, with the additional 4, additional 10, or additional 20, right? No problem. But each day, just make 6. Number 3, plan how long each task will take. So this is the biggest problem, right? I believe it is Parkinson's law, but I'm not sure. But it's basically saying that the work expands to fill the time allocated for it. So if you give yourself 2 hours to do something, you will get it done in 2 hours. If you give yourself 1.5 hours to do something, you will get it done in 1.5 hours. And if you give yourself 30 minutes to do something, you will push yourself and get it done in 30 minutes. So give yourself a reasonable amount of time to actually accomplish these tasks, okay? The next one is assigning time slots. So P, put it in the calendar, right? Put it into the calendar and assign and block off a certain time that your thing will be done for tomorrow's schedule. This is super duper important, because if you don't put it in your calendar, if you don't make an allocation of time for it, it will not get done, okay? And number 5, put the most difficult projects at the beginning of the day, no matter what time your day starts. Some people are morning people, some people are night people. So even though you wake up at 3 p.m. in the afternoon and that's how your day starts, no problem, right? No problem. All you have to do is just the first thing when you do wake up, right? Do the most difficult stuff, because the brain, your attention, your willpower is like a muscle, okay? And after the muscle is tired, it takes time to regenerate. So your muscle is most active, is most amazing, it's most effective when it is in the beginning of your day, no matter what time it is, all right? And the third one is declutter. Declutter your list. If you have to throw something away, for example, responding, sometimes I make a lot of responses on WhatsApp that, when I look at it and I think, maybe I shouldn't have needed to respond to it. Sometimes I forward stuff, and anyway, I'll tell you a story. I'll tell you my story after I did it. But anyway, at first I was forwarding a lot of stuff that I thought, I need to share this information because it's so important, right? But when I started to do this, I started to take a step back, right? And I started to stop forwarding. and I started to do it in batches, right? So I was still forwarding, but I wasn't forwarding immediately, right? So I was only forwarding at the end of the day and stuff like that, right? And when I started forwarding at the end of the day, the stuff that I was receiving, something funny happened. People started to respond back to me like, "Oh, I've already seen it. Oh, no, I've already seen that. Yeah, ha ha ha. It's funny. I've already seen it." And I thought to myself, you know what? The whole world doesn't depend on me to forward all this news and these jokes and whatever, right? Other people are also forwarding this stuff. My tribe, my group are also getting this stuff. I don't have to do it. It's not the first thing I have to do at the beginning of the day, right? So ask yourself, like some of the things, will it hurt to throw this away? Will it hurt to delegate it to someone? Will it hurt if I don't forward this or if I don't act on this today, right? So that is the essence there. And then we talked about, this is again recap from yesterday, right? We talked about, hey, the faster analogy. Okay, so now I want you guys to put in the chat, what does F stand for? Anyone can remember what does F stand for? What does F? Hey, great stuff, Armin. Great stuff. Yes, F stands for forget, right? We should actually forget the stuff that we know whenever we're taking new information in or listening to a person or reading a book or whatever. We should forget the stuff we already know and open it in a beginner's mind, right? Have a beginner's mind. Why? Because if your cup is full, you can't add any more things in it. You need to have this empty cup. It's a Zen philosophy, right? The empty cup, or at least a half full cup, right? Great. Ayat, great for your, Ayat, great for your, okay, what about A? What is A? Great, action, act, correct. So act. Whenever you learn, it's not a passive process. It's not like you're watching a movie. You watch a movie, you just lie on your couch, you sit back, you relax, and you watch a movie. Learning is not. You need to take notes. You need to make little annotations. You need to cross-reference and cross-check and with other things. You need to perhaps even share, right? Share this information with someone else and actually act, right? Act when you are learning. Okay, what about S? Yes, correct, Madeline. It's state, right? Great, Travis. Answer is correct. State, okay? State. So be in the right state for learning, right? We need to be in the right state for learning, and we need to have the right kind of attitude, right? An open state, calm, so we can absorb. And later, towards the end of this session, end of this lesson, I'm going to share with you why it's so important to have the right state. Yesterday, you already watched that video of Tony Robbins said state is pretty much everything, right? Everything starts with state, right? Okay, next one, T. What does T stand for? T is my favorite. What's T stand for? Teach, correct, Diane. Diane, Aya says teach. Madeline says teach as well. Well done, okay? Teach. The best way to learn something is actually to teach someone else. When I share stuff with you, I learn so much, not only from you, but also from the interactions with you, and I learned on so many dimensions, right? So, and also if you want to teach something, to be able to teach something, you need to be able to learn it first in a very proper way. So imagine if you just want to learn something, imagine that attention that you put. But if you have to teach it to somebody, imagine what kind of attention you're going to put. It's exactly the same thing, okay? Great. What about E? What does E stand for? Enter, absolutely right. Enter, right? We need to enter this into our calendar. We need to enter and make a time for learning. Make a time, because I cannot tell you how many books that I started to read, and then phone call came, somebody interrupted me, and it's done halfway. And these are great books. These are really, really great books that I know. Imagine this, I actually know that I will benefit from it, right? There's no questions asked, but still I don't do it. And the reason I've not done it is because I haven't put time. I haven't entered it into my calendar. I haven't put 10 minutes, 15 minutes or whatever, right? Even before bed, 10 minutes before bedtime, read one chapter. Something simple that you can enter into your calendar, put it part of your routine, okay? And the last one, R. What is R? R. Great, review. Thank you, Subra, for saying enter. Deanne and Madeline says review. Deanne says review. Review is absolutely right, okay? Because we have something called the forgetfulness curve. Okay, we'll not remember everything forever. And there's a particular way that if you review regularly, especially something that's important. For example, this program, right? This program, you're taking notes, I hope, and you have some notes that you are taking that it's not, okay, again, right? When you talk about notes here, it's not just copying whatever that's on the screen that you see, okay? That is not the way to take notes. That is just being monkey see, monkey do kind of a note taking, right? It's not about that. When you want to take notes and for review later, right? You want to take notes that actually have your understanding and your situation on it. Because, you know, I've so many times, right? I did the monkey see, monkey do, right? I used to just copy the notes. Whatever I see on the screen, I used to copy. Whatever I saw in the book, I used to copy because at that time it made sense, right? 3 months later, when I did the review, I had no idea what I'd written. No idea at all. It was just 3 words that I wrote, which I copied from the screen because I lost the context. Because the context was created by the book that I was reading or the video that I was watching, but it was useless to me. So very important, when you take notes, you must take it in your own words, right? Put the notes in your own words. Don't monkey see, monkey do, and just copy that, right? That's really, really important. It really helped me. So now I put it in my own words, in my own context. So even 10 years goes down the road and I open the book, I will know because these are my own words for my own situation, right? Like if somebody says, you know, increase your business by 10x, right? And I will say, I want to do this thing to increase my business in the tourism sector, for example, right? Because I have taken that information, I've synthesized it, and I put it down as notes. Okay, so that's what I mean by notes. So faster, great. Okay, now one thing I didn't cover yesterday, and if you want to learn more about billionaire secrets and whatever, this book is called The 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma. Great, great book. And I recommend you guys, if you want to be a real trailblazer, be a real game changer, right? This is the great book that you can read. So I've given you a lot of books now. Faster by, Limitless by Jim Quick, The Ultimate Sales Machine by Chet Holmes, right? And some of the stuff inside the book. Okay, so now we move next to curiosity. So yesterday I covered the sales habits of the billionaire. Okay, now some of the things that I still need to add is this. Okay, about curiosity. And curiosity is very important. The most successful people that I have seen, the richest people, they are always curious, right? They are always curious. As a salesperson, you should be very, very curious. Now, this slide that I have here with Albert Einstein is, for most people, they will just read it and they will just go like, oh, okay, don't stop questioning. Curiosity has its own. No, it's nice. It's nice. But really, if you go deep into this statement, right? Like, I mean, really go deep and start contemplating on this. This is probably one of the most important slides or the information that you'll ever receive in your life, okay? It is from one of the greatest minds of our time, Albert Einstein, and he talks about questioning. So he's talking about questioning is very, very deep, right? And really, it is an innate part of us being a human. Animals don't question, right? Animals don't think so much. They act on impulses. They act on drives, okay? Humans have the ability to ask questions. This is what really defines us as human, okay? So if you go deep into this, and obviously we're not going to go deep today, but the richest people, the most successful people, they are always curious. Like, hey, I wonder why, or they're curious what their competitors are doing. They're curious what other businesses are doing. They're curious. They're always asking questions. How can I improve? What can I do to make myself better, right? So at the end of the day, right, and I'll go over and over this again and again because it's so important, right? Questions are so much more important than answers. In the old days, when I say old days, I mean like 100 years ago, or 200 years ago, answers were really important, right? So That's why we have the exams, right? So our exam system, the whole examination system that I went through, that you are going through, that you have gone through in the past, that we all go through, right, is based on how well you can answer the question, right? And if you can answer the question well, you get the point. If you cannot answer the question, you don't get the point, you don't get the marks, you don't get your degree, you don't get your certificate, you don't get much, right? So the whole of our thinking has been based on answers. I'm not just saying you and me, I'm saying the world, okay? I'm saying the world. The whole education system is based on answers. But you know, today, answers mean nothing. That's right. Answers mean nothing because we have Google, okay? Google has all the answers that anyone can ever dream of, right? Google has all the answers. So really what is lacking today is not really the answers, because you have the answers for everything. It is the questions, okay? Today, what is lacking is the question. So asking the right question at the right time is the best thing that you can do. So this is that. Okay, now I'm going to move on. One of the other things, and I'll speed through this because this is a whole topic on its own, is your superpower, okay? Every billionaire, every successful person has got superpowers, okay? So what is your superpower, right? It's put in the chat right now. Do you guys know what your superpower is? What is your superpower? Okay, what is your superpower? My superpower is actually making things that are complex, very, very complex things, scientific stuff, very complex things, and making it easy for people to understand. Okay, that is my superpower, right? So put in the chat right now, do you know what your superpower is? Okay, your superpower, chances are it's actually earning you money right now. Okay, that is your superpower. Like I told you, my superpower is taking stuff that's complex and making it simple for people to understand so that they can then create results in their life. So great. So Travis says, I'm fearless. I love it. Okay. Nurul says, I'm curious. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. You guys know your superpower. That's awesome. Okay. Good stuff. Okay. For those of you who don't know your superpower, okay, there's this little thing here called Ikigai. I discovered this as well when I was talking to this doctor, right? And so this is a doctor who actually, imagine, right? He spent 6 years becoming a doctor. And I met him at the beach one day, right? She's chilling out during time to be a doctor, right? Like doctor time is like during the day, right? So on the beach, he was like chilling out, and I was talking to him, and I said, like, aren't you a doctor? Like, aren't you supposed to be at your hospital or clinic or working? And he's like, no, I'm not a doctor anymore. He studied 6 years, and he then decided to leave, working as a doctor, and he went into a business that was supplying doctor services online. Okay, so like online consultation or whatever. So he was like this. He was successful. He didn't have to go to clinic and see sick patients anymore because he was doing it all online. Okay, so for you guys, right? And he was loving it. So he told me, he said, there's this thing called Ikigai. It's a Japanese stuff. And when he told me about it, I was like, oh my God, I've been looking for this all my life because I've always wondered, like, what should I do with my life? What should I do with my life? Like half my life, right? I was just really confused. So if you're confused, right, you need to find your Ikigai, which is finding what you're good at, okay, what you love, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for, right? And if you're at the center of that, you found your Ikigai, which is you found your reason for being in this world, okay? But if not, you will just fall into one of these areas here. Like I said, we have no time to go into this, but go and research it. I do cover it more in my advanced programs, actual specific sections for this in my personal branding program. It is right there where you have to find your brand, but we have no time for that. So let's move on, okay? So some of the challenges that we are facing right now is the successful people, right? They have an more or less equal distribution of consumption, where they consume energy from the world, they consume information from the world around them, and then they reflect, they meditate, they go for long walks, they think about it, right? They actually reflect and think about what they have learned, what they are seeing in the world around them, and then they speak, they talk, they create content, they give talks, they they come up with decisions, they take decisions, and they make a difference in the life. Now in crisis form, in crisis right now, a lot of things are skewed. Okay, so if you are in this situation where you're in complete consumption mode and hardly thinking about anything, and just reactively reacting, right, then it's time to take a breather, take a step, and understand. Okay, as I keep going on, I want to share with you this thing about fail fast. Okay, fail fast is startups are really good at that. They fail quickly, learn from the mistakes, and jump on. Okay, another one is this fail forward thing that a lot of billionaires do. Okay, now fail forward is easy to say, but it's very hard to do. And I will tell you my own story of fail forward. Fail forward means when you fall down, right? You actually fall down in a good place, and you bounce, you bounce forward instead of bouncing back. Okay, so let me share with you my story. Do you remember I talked about all my greatness and how amazing. If you go to my website, right? If you go to my website, you will see how amazing my successes are. But what most people don't know is the journey that I took to get there was very hard. It was very painful, and I suffered a lot, right? So my journey to the top was a little bit like this. Okay, it was not a straight line that I would like people to believe, right? The true story is that it was really tough, and particularly I want to share with you about what happened to me when I was in Australia during the global financial crisis in 2008. So this is called the Great Recession, okay? And the Great Recession, a lot of money changed hands, but I didn't. I lost a lot of money during that time, okay? So the long and the short of it is that I lost my job during the financial crisis, okay? So imagine this is me. I was working for HSBC Bank. I had just done a huge branding program for 33,000 employees, okay? Multiple time zones, serving 80 million customers. So I was, at that time, I was based in India, right? I was based in India. So HSBC, I was in, they sent me to London, they sent me to India, and also I was based in the Malaysia division. But in this case, I was in Malaysia, right? So, in India, the way they treat the expatriates, you get your own car, you get your own driver, right? You get of course, you got your place all paid for by the bank, and then you get all these overseas allowance, daily paid allowances, right? And stuff like that. So you got your expatriate package. So I was, living a great life, and all of a sudden, right, after I went to Australia to get my next job, right? In Australia was my next job. And well, I'll tell the story really quickly. So when I was in Australia, because I'm a Malaysian citizen, I have a Malaysian passport, right? So the headhunter said, look, this job is waiting for you. You've got the job, you just need the work permit, right? So I said, okay, sure, I'll get the work permit. So I got the work permit done, right? I got my work permit organized. But the problem was that the agent who was processing my application, right? The employment, it's a migration lawyer actually, right? Because I was already migrating to Australia and to live there. So the migration lawyer made one small mistake in the application form, okay? And because of that one small mistake, my application was rejected, okay? My application was rejected, and she had to make the application again, okay? Now that whole process took an additional 30 days, okay? And just 30 days, right? So you say, you know what, hey, 30 days, right? No problem. No. In that 30 days, the bank that was hiring me started firing its employees. And in that year, 2008, they fired 3,000 of their employees. Okay, they fired 3,000 of their employees. So obviously, my job was gone. Okay, so I was so by this time I'm already in Australia. Before that, I was out of Australia. I'm already in Australia, and the headhunter is telling me, okay, great that you got your work permit, but bad news, you don't have a job because the company is in financial difficulty on its whatever, right? So I was like, oh, okay, no problem. Anyway, long story short, I thought I could get another job, and I tried, and I made 153 applications, all rejected. Okay, so imagine that, right? You get one rejection is already bad. 3 rejections is worse, right? Imagine you're rejected 153 times. How bad is that? So I was really, really in a bad situation. And so what I was doing was I was doing what most people were doing, right? I was in denial. I said, no problem, I'll go on holiday. So here's one example of someone in Corona, during the coronavirus, right? Trying to entertain himself and, try to pass time. And so this, I picked it up on social media. I think it's kind of cute. How, we are what we eat. So this is a great thing which says we are what we eat, right? Or what I was doing, so I was doing like a lot of stuff, right? And this is what people are doing, right? You watch TV or you try to numb the pain. Okay, you try to numb the pain. You try to do different things. So here's another example, right? Overeating, or going smoking or drinking, right? This is some of the things, or really trying to escape into a new world, trying to play video games or stuff like that. Okay, or watching porn, right? Watching porn, or just trying to get your mind away from stuff. Okay, so like I pretty much did all of this stuff, right? I did all of this stuff, and I was going down deeper and deeper into a hole. Okay, so and I started to have to sell all my assets, whatever that I had to sell my assets. Imagine I'm living in Australia, and living in Australia with no income is not a great thing, because everything is so expensive in Australia. For those of you who know, it's a first world country. Okay, so so pretty soon I was maxed out with all my credit cards. Okay, all my credit cards, and I was getting calls from the bank. Okay, I was getting calls from the bank saying like, when can you pay your minimum balance? I did not have enough money for a cup of coffee. I did not have enough money to buy a cup of coffee at Starbucks, let alone pay the minimum balance of my credit cards. Okay, so I was really flat broke, right? And it was really, really tough. And I thought to myself, you know what? How great if God can just take me right now, right? How wonderful it would be if I can just end this right now. And I twice I thought of like just, ending it all. Okay, so I was in this really deep and dark place. Okay, now there was a turnaround. Okay, but that turnaround, I'll tell you another day how I turned around. But now I got a question for you guys. Okay, I got a question for all of you. There are 16 people in this group now. When we go through crisis, okay, we go through 7 stages. Okay, the first one is shock, which I went through. I went through shock, and then I went through denial. I was like, no, you know what? This thing will go bad. I'm great. I'm really good. Okay, I'm really good. Okay, and then after that, I became angry. I became angry at the system. I became angry at the Australians. I became angry at everyone around me, because it's like, why don't you, whatever. I became angry at the people who caused the recession, which were the traders and the greedy banks, right? Financial institutions who made the subprime loan problem, right? And then I became sad and I became depressed. Okay, and then eventually I went into acceptance and said, you know what? Nobody can help me except me. Really, this is no point blaming anyone, right? So then I took ownership, and I said, okay, I take ownership, because if I start blaming people, I give them the ownership and I give them the power. So I want to take back my power. So I took back my power, and then I started to thrive. Okay, so I've got a question for you. I'm going to put a poll right now, and this is basically a poll. Are you guys on the left side of this curve, or are you guys on the right side of this curve? Now, all of this, please answer the poll right now. Please answer the poll right now. Are you guys on the left side, or are you guys on the right side? Okay, it's an anonymous thing, right? I do not know who is answering, and I cannot track the answers to you. This is a very personal thing, but I want you to answer as honestly as you can. Okay, there are 17 people in this group right now. Okay, and I've only seen 10 results. So please answer in the next 5 seconds. Okay, answer in the next 5 seconds. Where are you right now? Are you on the left or are you on the right? You've got a couple of minutes more. Okay, if you're on the left, I know exactly how you're feeling. Okay, I know exactly how you're feeling because I have been there. Okay, if you're not sure, I also know. Okay, I also know where you're feeling. But it's nice to see. Like I said, I don't know who is responding because this is an anonymous poll. But it's nice to see. I'm going to share. I'm going to share the results now with the poll. Pretty much 13 people responded, and you guys are mostly in bounce back mode, which is fantastic. Okay, which is fantastic. I'm really happy that most of us right now are taking charge, taking situations in our hands. Okay, now what I want to also ask you is specifically, like, where are you in bounce back mode? Tell me. Are you in acceptance mode, or are you actually thriving with the new normal, or are you taking ownership, right? Where are you right now in that mode so that I can really understand? And please, everyone, right? There are many people in this group. I have no idea what answer you're going to put and who is putting the answers, okay? Because this is an anonymous poll, but I want to see this group, which will help us as a group to understand. Okay, another 5 seconds more. Please put your responses in. Okay, I'm going to end the poll in 2 seconds. Okay, so nice to see that we have almost 20% of us are actually thriving right now, which is really, really encouraging, right? 60% of us are in acceptance mode, which is great, right? You accept where you are now. This is your starting point for your road to skyrocket your sales. This is the absolute starting point. You have to accept the situation as is, right? Don't be angry, don't be in denial and stuff like that. Of course, there are times that you can get angry, there are times that you can be in denial, but mostly you need to be in acceptance. Okay, that's my point. Okay, let's keep going on. So what I want to share with you, right, is like for me, okay, so okay, for me, what happened was I did not move on like you. Like most of you went into acceptance already, right? I was stuck here, and what should have taken me maybe 4 to 6 weeks to actually get out of acceptance, I took me 6 to 9 months. Can you imagine that? 6 to 9 months to get into my next phase. Okay, and during this time, I knew exactly what I needed to do. I knew exactly what needed to happen, but I had no energy. I had no motivation. I was so feeling so down and feeling so not confident at all. Okay, and so I was completely a different person, and you would not want to have met me. So there's some photos of me from that time, right? And you will see me smiling with a with a very happy grin. But behind that happy smile was a very broken person. Okay, I was a broken man, and I was very sad and down. But I kept this face to the world. Okay, I kept this face to the world. So if you're in that situation, understand that it is fine. It is okay, right? The important thing is to focus on one step at a time. And that's really important, right? One small win. That's all you need. One small win, and that's how you get out. Okay, so I went into depression, and I went into all those dark terrible situation, right? But anyway, let's keep moving, right? So there is a point here. Some of you have moved into acceptance, okay? But some of you who haven't, those of you who are watching on Facebook, who watch this video later on, those of you who are, you come to a point here, okay? And this is the point, is very, very critical, that you do not fall down, okay, into a crisis and depression and sadness and stuff like that, okay? Take the right decision when it comes to that point. Okay, so there's something called pain and there's something called suffering, okay? So pain is this thing where, you know, when someone does something to you, for example, somebody slaps you, or somebody says a hurtful comment to you, okay? If you're a guy, somebody punches you in the face. If you're a girl, maybe someone says a really, really nasty thing to you, right? And you feel the pain, okay? At that point of time, you feel that, oh my God, how could you say a thing like that, okay? And you become angry about it, and you go through that. And then she goes away, if you've got the punch in your face, okay? You've got the punch and you feel the pain, and the pain goes away. But then the suffering starts, okay? This suffering is like, how can that person do that to me? How irresponsible of that person. That's a horrible thing that person has said. It's so bad. And this is where you start cutting yourself up by your own actions and your own words. Because that person who said the bad thing or who hurt you has already walked on, has already moved on, right? Now, suffering is what you do to yourself. Pain is what others do to you, but suffering is what you do to yourself. And think about it right now. Many of us, right, are suffering things that happened 10 years ago. Things that happened, you know, someone did something like 10 years ago. We are still suffering that, suffering from that, right? That person has moved on, that everyone has moved on, right? And you say you have moved on, but still you are suffering from that. So be very, very observant that a lot of successful people do not do that, right? So the recovery mindset, first of all, you are the most important person in your life. Don't let you be your biggest enemy, okay? So now I'm going to move on. I'm going to do this one exercise, okay, on how to detox your thinking. And okay, so for this exercise, I want all of you to pay real attention, okay? This is a mind exercise, okay? It's a mind exercise. I want you to think of the worst thing possible that the coronavirus has brought, right? What are you most fearful about? Okay, for some of you, it may be losing your business if you're a business owner. If you are an employee, it might be losing your job and becoming jobless, right? You have got no job and all of a sudden you have to find a job elsewhere, and jobs are so hard to find, right? If you're in a business, you've already pumped so much money into your business, and now you will lose that, and you lose a lot of your savings. For some of you, it may be losing a key employee or a loved one to the actual disease. So imagine that there's somebody, a key person in your company, your top salesperson or your top income generator suddenly gets the coronavirus and they cannot work for so long, right? Imagine it's something like that. I want you to imagine of the worst thing that could happen to you, okay? Imagine the worst thing that could happen to you, right? How do you feel now? How do you feel now? Pretty bad, okay? If I were you, I would feel a lot of anxiety, okay? And sometimes when you feel this anxiety, I want you now to bring this up. Bring up this negative feeling. I want you to bring up this negative feeling because later I'm going to teach you how to get rid of it, okay? But I need you to bring it up to feel that negative feeling, okay? I want you to feel that negative feeling. And a lot of you have this thing. And you know what? Right now, if I just told you, hey, you know what? Be positive. Think of happy thoughts. You'll be fine. You know what? That's not going to work, okay? No matter what you think in terms of your happy thoughts, okay? What you feel is this deep, dull anxiety and this fear and this really horrible feeling you have in your heart, okay? It is not so much about what you can think of happy thoughts and whatever, because if you just say, for example, now I tell you a joke and you start laughing, yes, you laugh for 2 minutes, right? But after that, that same feelings come back again, that deep, dark, uncertain about the future, because you know it's a terrible situation we are all in. You know, some of you are in lockdown now, right? You can't even go out of your apartment. Now, how long is it going to last, right? What if the government says that it's going to be extended a little longer? Like, what's the government going to say? Like, this horrible feeling, right? Like, what if, right? So now that I've brought up these thoughts that you have, okay, I'm going to teach you now a simple way. This is a hack, how to get rid of it. So this is the Heart Math Institute. It is based in the US, and a lot of their staff are research based. In fact, I'm sorry, everything that they do is 100% research based. Okay, so it is not something which somebody just decided that might be a good idea to do, whatever. So whatever I'm teaching you now is a process, and this process is actually patented. It's a patented process that the Heart Math Institute uses to calm people who are anxious or feeling anxiety. Okay, so this exercise is very simple. It's a breathing technique, which I want you to try right now. Okay, very simple. I want you to focus your attention on your heart area. Okay, I want you to breathe a little deeper. Okay, start breathing a little deeper than you're normal. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and breathe out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it, right? That's it. It's that simple, right? You're breathing in and you're breathing out. That's it. Okay. Now it helps if you can put your hand on your heart while you're doing that. Okay. It really helps if you can put your hand on your heart while you're doing it. So imagine, right, that you're breathing out through your heart. Okay, you're breathing out all that negativity through your heart that's in your heart right now, that feeling of heaviness and unhappiness. Breathe it out on a deep breath, right? Count to 5, count to 6, okay? Slowly, deep. You need to breathe deeply, okay? Now, keep breathing, right? Keep breathing for the next 10 seconds. Okay. Now, how do you guys feel? Please put in the chat right now. Okay, this is a simple exercise of breathing through the heart. Okay, it's called heart-focused breathing. It's helped me a lot. Okay, the reason I'm sharing all the stuff that I share with you, I have done it myself. Okay, it's not something that you know, it just seems like a good idea. It's some stuff that I have done. I've seen it to work, and that's why I'm sharing with you. Okay, so please put in the chat now. How do you feel after the breathing? Right? How do you feel after the breathing exercise? Great, great. So Yuli says, I feel great. Madeline says, I feel refreshed. So some of you have already put earlier in the chat, you have messaged me, right? Saying that I feel really stressed. You know, when I was bringing in all the stuff that was unhappiness, right? I felt, you messaged me saying that you felt really uneasy, you felt uncomfortable, you felt horrible. Okay, imagine it just took you 10 seconds, right? I think no, 15 seconds. Okay, 15 seconds, and imagine how you feel. How amazing. Okay, what if you can do this every single time you have this negative thought or negative feeling of something happens to you when the government makes a whatever, right? Imagine that. Okay, so put in the chat right now, what is the one thing that you're grateful for today? The one thing that you're grateful for today. Today's session is going to go on a little longer because I it's going to go on longer than 60 minutes. Okay. So if you guys have to, we are now almost 60 minutes. Okay. If you guys want to me to stop and carry on tomorrow, please put in the chat. If you want me to go on, type go on. Type go on in the chat. Okay. Okay, great, great, great. You guys are a great audience. You guys are a great team. Okay, I really enjoy being with you because you're so excited and you really want more. So today's session is going to go on a little longer, maybe another 20 minutes more. Okay, you guys okay with that? Yeah. Okay, great. Subra says go on. Elson says go on. Diane, Travis, Winatalim, Furkan, Nurul, Armin, Ayat, all of you. Okay, Madeline, everyone says go on. Okay, great. Let's keep going. Okay, so. So please put in the chat also. Don't forget to put what you're grateful for right now. Okay. Now, we are going to go to our workbook. Okay, we're going to go to our workbook. And I'm going to put in the chat, let me just get off this, and I'm going to put in the chat the link that allows you to go to your workbook. This is day 3 workbook. Okay, click on the link. I hope you guys can click on the link. Okay, your workbook should pretty much look like this. Okay, it's got 3 sections: what is out of your control, what you can control, and what you can influence. Okay, great. I see Yuli says, grateful I'm alive and my loved ones are in healthy condition. Awesome. That's great, Yuli. I see here from Madeline, you know, grateful today, took the mom to the doctor. You know, you're healthy and you can take someone who needs attention with the doctor. Great. Travis says, waking up today with my 2 dogs licking my face. That's really awesome, right? Imagine that, and a bright day awaits. That's what Travis says. Awesome, right? Nurul says, great to be surrounded by energetic people. That's right. You know, we are actually a team right now. We are taking this challenge together because we are in the same situation and we're here to help each other, right? Awesome. Yes, we are surrounded by energetic people and everyone here just wants to learn. They want to grow. They want to serve customers. They want to make their lives better, right? So that's awesome. Okay. So there are 3 things here. Okay. And let me go back to my slides. Okay, so write down right now, what are the things that are actually out of your control? So earlier we actually went through this, right? You have no control what the government says about the lockdown, right? If the government says, you have no control if there is somebody in your neighborhood that gets COVID-19, and because of that, the government comes and makes your area a red zone. You have no control of that, okay? You have no control if your company can pay you or not, right? If the company goes out of business, they have no control of that. Okay, you have no control if you're in collections, if you're a business owner and your customers owe you money and now they don't want to pay you because they have no money. You have no control of that. Okay, so this is the thing again, like I said, write down this stuff that is out of your control. Okay, write down your stuff that is out of your control, and then we go to the stuff that you can control. Okay, and what I want you to do is I want you now to think, right? What can you control? Well, like you said, you can control your state of mind. You can control how you behave with your team. Okay, your behavior, that is 100% in your control. Okay, you can control what you do to not get the virus, do not catch this COVID-19, this coronavirus. You can control how you deal with other people, your outlook, how you deal with the people. If you're staying alone, how you deal with people through your WhatsApp and through your Zoom calls and phone calls and others. If you're staying with people, you can decide how you can react with them, how you can talk to them and stuff like that. You can control, if you're in sales, and most of you who are in sales right now, you can absolutely control how many customers you connect with on a daily basis. Okay, remember, I didn't say how many customers you sell to. That's not what I meant. How many customers are you connecting? Just connecting, saying, hey, how's everything? Is there anything I can do for you? Not to sell them, right? But just connect with them, right? And if you're a business owner, absolutely you can control how much of money that you're spending. You don't have to pay for everything right now, okay? And then this is the other part. What can you influence? Okay, you can influence a lot of things, right? If you are getting funding, you can influence people to give you more of that funding, right? If you owe people money, you can go back to them and say, hey, you know, I know I was supposed to pay you this, but can I extend, right? If customers say that they can't pay you, right? Just don't accept that. Don't accept that. Say like, okay, I know you cannot pay me the full amount, but what can you pay right now? And how often can you pay it? Can we come up with a payment schedule, right? You can do stuff like that. If you have to pay your suppliers, can you negotiate with them, right? Can you open and start talking to them rather than them, you know, down the road getting offended with you because you didn't communicate enough and then taking legal actions because you offended them by saying something, right? You can actually come up with a new value proposition for your customers because your customers have changed their outlook. Your customer situation has changed because of COVID-19. So because of that, their needs have changed. Can you come up with something to satisfy those new needs, right? Which is something we will be covering. We'll be covering in the later days on the challenge, right? And if you have been in an office, right? If you have been in an office environment and I know many of you have your own offices and you miss that. You miss working from your office where you've got no distractions and you can work and you don't like it. But now you've got the new working environment. So can you influence this new culture because it's a brand new way of working that you're forced to do with your employees and your team? Can you maybe influence it in a way that makes it a fun culture, makes it an accountable culture? A lot of managers, especially for those people who are bosses, they are so used to seeing the employee in the office, right? And all of a sudden, the employee is not in the office. You know what's the first thought your boss has? My employee is watching Netflix. My employee is sleeping. My employee is not doing whatever, right? So if you're a typical boss, so what do you do as a boss? That's your first thought, right? Oh my God, my employee is not working. So you get on the phone, you start, micromanaging them. And this is the worst thing you can do. Okay, this is the worst thing you can do because your employee is already stressed with their own problems. And now there's a new thing where they feel that their boss doesn't trust them. So what can you do, right, to make your a great working culture, right? You can influence that. It's totally in your control. So if you look at the things that, if you look at the stuff that's out of your control, right? And you look at the stuff that's what's in your control and you stuff that you can actually influence, you realize that what is out of your control is really a very small part. It's the much smaller part of what you can control. Maybe it's 30% stuff that's out of your control, maybe 20%, right? But 70, 80% is stuff that's fully in your control. Okay, so this is an empowering exercise and I hope that you do it. This is your homework, by the way, right? This is your homework that you can do, that you need to do, right? Now we're about to come to the end of our session, and I want to tell you about this guy called Shawn Achor. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. Shawn Achor is a professor at Harvard University. And they do a lot of stuff on this thing called positive psychology and happiness and stuff like that. And they've over 12 years of research. They came up with some amazing connection between happiness and productivity at work. Okay, so I'm going to share with you some tips, and this is this will come later, right? But some of the things that they did in a case study, right? is they ask the employees of the company to do one. There are 5 things here, right? To just do one of these things, right? So if maybe you want to just start by doing one of these things, you will find your life will improve in terms of happiness in a very, very big way, right? Number one is the feeling of gratitude, right? So every day you just write down what you're grateful for, and that's done. Okay. So over the next 10 days, and maybe if you find that it works, even after the challenge is over, you can continue doing it, right? But just do one of these 5 things, right? Just one of these 5 things. Either it's journaling or exercise. Gosh, do you realize how much exercise, how important exercise is for your brain? For your brain to actually function, just function normal, not to be happy, right? Just to function on a normal basis. Exercise is so important. So it's very important to have exercise, right? So if you can't, walk, you can't go out and you can't walk, you can do stuff at home. There are many YouTube videos that just give you a little bit of exercise for 10 minutes. Come on, I know, 1 hour is a problem. I know, 90 minutes is a problem, and going to the gym and whatever, it's going to be a challenge. But come on, 10 minutes, I think everyone can do. And it can be as simple as just walking. It can be as simple as just, lifting something so that your muscles get some exercise. Okay. So these are some of the things. Okay. So here's your action item. So today you have an action item, and I'm going to put it also in the Facebook group as well. Your action item for today is to watch this video by Sean Acor. Okay. And I want you to watch this video. Okay. So I put it in the chat right now. This video by Sean Acor, please watch it. I'll also share it in the Facebook group after this call, of course, along with the clear version of this recording, so that you guys can follow through anything that I've missed. I want to know your takeaway, right? The biggest takeaway. And tomorrow, okay, we're at the end of this program now. We're at the end of today's session. Tomorrow, I'm going to give you the actual crisis recovery strategy. Okay, so the first 3 days was state. So today you got your state, you are in the right position. I can see a lot of you are in acceptance mode and you're ready to make a difference and make a change. So tomorrow we're going to move into the actual strategy, the story selling strategy that will help you to start making money. Okay, so great stuff. Thank you, everyone. It's been really, really awesome with you. You got an awesome bunch, and sorry we extended a little longer than normal. We're 10 minutes over, but let's keep going, keep pushing, and do one of those 5 things, right? Do one of these 5 things if you can, and start making a habit out of it. All right, everyone, take care. Thank you, and stay awesome. Bye-bye.